Geocachers, it's time to celebrate your achievement. Introducing the brand new Jasmer Challenge GeoCoins, designed to honor your dedication to one of the toughest geocaching challenges out there. Each coin represents a completed loop of the Jasmer Challenge, marking your journey through the history of geocaching. Whether you've conquered Loop 1, Loop 2, or gone all the way to Loop 3, there's a coin for you. These stunning GeoCoins were designed by renowned coin artist Christian Mackey, known for his incredible craftsmanship and attention to detail. And at just $25 each, they're a must-have for any serious cacher. Don't wait. Grab yours today in the Geocache Talk Shop and show the world that you've mastered the Jasmer Challenge.
Good evening and welcome to Challenge Talk, part of the Geocache Talk Network. You can watch the show live on the second Tuesday of each month. Feel free to jump over to YouTube, Facebook, or X to watch the broadcast live and join the wonderful and active chat room, or listen to the entire show later on your favorite podcast player or YouTube. Oh, I don't have another co-host tonight. I guess I got to keep reading. Tonight, we'll be talking all about challenge caching with the LANMonkeys. Welcome, monkeys.
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
We also have prizes to give away each show to our listeners. Between each show, be sure to email your challenge cache finds to challengecachepodcast@gmail.com, and you could be a winner. Later on in the show, we'll play our special game exclusively for our live audience, the Wheel of Challenges. So listen live, get your email app ready, and follow the instructions when the time comes so you can have a chance at winning tonight's grand prize. And at the end of the show, we'll highlight some of the caches that you found, and someone will win our coveted monthly giveaway. So as I said, normally we would say, I'm your host, Emily and Tim, but I'm Tim tonight. So I'm going to jump into a little bit of news and a little bit of comment, and then we will reintroduce our famous, infamous LANMonkey group. So some of the things that I would normally talk about is Cache Fest. Cache Fest, I'm ready in the Hawaiian mood. I'm ready to go. If you're interested and you can get out there on your own, I have a room that you can help share. So there is a one bed available to share my room if you are interested, but you got to go quick because it's coming soon.
Tim,
yeah.
Tim, do you care if people snore?
No, because I can't hear. So you can snore. You can run an ambulance outside my bedroom, which is true. It happened, and I will not hear it. So snoring is not a problem. But I do want to ask, how is your challenge passport going? So remember that you can check your challenge for, maybe you can, maybe you can't, because I can't bring it up on the screen right now. There it is. Check your challenges for Cache Fest at the Challenges 97052. And before the show, I checked on our guests. Now, I already know from Laura that she said she wasn't going to Cache Fest. Shame on you. Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Sadly, not this year.
There's a lot
I
there,
know.
too.
However, do you realize you have scored 14 points in the Passport Challenge?
No.
Good job.
Well done. So we have 4 different kind of groups of challenges for Cache Fest, and we have a checker written that does each of the groups. And so we can just go out and check. It's not an official challenge cache, but we ask our people coming out to Cache Fest, or we have another promotion going on, that you can check your challenges. We have received information that the challenge checker was incorrect on something. And our checker lackey, he was able to fix that. So we believe the checker is now working 100%. We also received input that somebody snuck an extra challenge in that the checker was checking for that the passport didn't have. The passport on day 1 was incorrect. The checker was correct. So you now need to find some swimming attribute caches, which was not announced in the show because we were working off the wrong passport. So that will help you get caught up on where we are with Cache Fest. So the other thing I want to announce is the Michigan State Park Geo Tours are live. Last time we only had one geo tour that covered the state, and it was 100 geocaches. It was big. It was mammoth. We've broken that down into 3 individual ones. There's a Southeast Michigan, put my hand up in the lower part. There's the Northern Lower, and then there's the Upper Peninsula, as you go like that. And so those are the 3. There are 15 caches per geo tour. And of course, if you complete all 15, you get a digital souvenir. If you complete all 3, you will get a 4th digital souvenir for the Geo Tour in Michigan. So they'll be going for at least 2 years. They released over Memorial Day, U.S. holiday, Memorial Weekend, and it already has 383 favorite points. So
Nice.
looking like another nice Geo Tour.
That's awesome.
Couple of news things. The Jasmer coins are available in the Geocache shop. And since I got to do the whole thing, got to find that link. So you can go to the Geocache Talk shop at etsy.com. And Loop 1 is available. And due to a production error, you can get some non-trackable coins for Loops 1, 2, and 3, I believe. Loop 4 is in production. The community has been heard. Some of us, yours truly, spoke to the powers that be and said, we really do need a 4th coin. So there is a 4th loop coming. I have not seen it yet, but it'll be a similar design, just in a different color profile. And today we unlocked treasures. So have you seen that, Jay or Laura?
Saw they were coming. We were busy working today, so we haven't haven't had a chance to take a look at.
And it is early out in BC. Okay, well, for those that may not have seen it yet, there's event mementos, and then there's planets, which are the 2 treasure groups. I'm going to go to planets first because it's a little bit more straightforward. You need to find a physical cache. It can be a traditional multi-letterbox mystery, where I go, but it has to have a cache. And in the planets, they have to be a regular or a large container, and they have to be greater than or equal to a 2.0 difficulty. Beyond that, anything above that, anything that qualifies, that will get you that souvenir or that treasure. And there are 8 planets to unlock in our solar system. Now, the events is a little bit different. You can earn an event memento by finding a physical cache that's either a micro, small, or other. So basically, you can find any cache, and it might qualify for one or the other. The caveat to the event mementos is it has to be greater than or equal to 3 favorite points. So a brand new cache probably won't qualify, but most
at least not on
else.
FTF it won't.
Yeah, no, the FTF can't unless. Well, there were 4 of us that found 5 FTFs yesterday. So if we each gave it a favorite point, it would qualify.
There you go.
As long as it did that before we logged the. Maybe that won't work.
The first 3 people don't get it.
The first 3 people don't get it. The 4th person would get it. There you go. The or to event mementos is or attend an event, any event. Now, I did go to an event this morning, and I did not get the treasure. I wasn't sure if there was a UTC versus ETC something. So this evening, I deleted my log, and I re-entered it, and I still did not get the treasure. If you do a search on an event memento treasure, it does not show you events. So I'm thinking there's a bug. So if you see it, stand by. Let's give HQ a chance to get at it, and we'll go from there. All right, kind of on the last side is an update to our monthly challenges. Each month we let our audience know where we stand in the world and in the United States. There are now 46,917 challenge caches in the world. And this is based on just doing a simple search, challenge attribute, go. So
there might be more if there's some grandfathered ones that don't have the attribute.
We've tried to do some, figuring that piece of it out, and the difference between having challenge in the title versus challenge in the attribute is very small. It's kind of an insignificant number to number of challenges worldwide. The increase was 523 this month, so that's a big jump.
Mhm.
And if you were listening to last month's show, you knew I threw down the gauntlet. Could we get 1,000 new challenge caches in the month of June? Now, what you guys don't know is that challenge passport I talked about, there's 2 sections where you have to place 4 challenge caches. So if all of our audience places 4, the rest of the world does what they do, hopefully we'll get to 1,000 in the month of June. Just kind of a fun little stat.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So once again, we will officially welcome Mr. and Mrs. LANMonkey. I know that the world knows who you are because you're such famous travelers. But for that one person out there that has no idea who you are and why we brought you here, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'll start. I'm the one who's harder to get to shut up.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to say if you want to use geocaching as your tour guide, we'll show you how. And that's kind of where we've moved to now. We have the great thing is we're a couple who both love to geocache. We just love different aspects of the game. And I think this is one of the key reasons, Tim, that you wanted to have us on is because of Mrs. LANMonkey, who's our challenge cacher in the family. But we love to travel. And so what we do is, and I love to take photographs and video. So we've got a YouTube channel. You can find it just by searching LANMonkey on YouTube, and it'll come up with us. And we've got great videos of just exploring all kinds of different parts of the world. A lot in British Columbia and Canada because that's where we live, but many other places around the world where we've traveled, finding caches, sometimes finding challenge caches, but definitely just getting out there and using geocaching as a tour guide and finding amazing new locations and meeting fun people all around the world.
Very nice, very nice. And I'll apologize to our chat room and our live listeners because I'm a one-man show tonight. So keeping my eye on the chat and everything else that I've got going on, it's going to be a little bit tough, but I want to get this one from Houston, Texas, Dave, who asked how many challenge caches in Canada, eh? And just so you know, Canada ranks 3rd in the world in challenge caches.
That's
Germany is second. The United States is first. We've got crazy people over here, but the Germans are probably the second most insane people that we know. And there are 4,151 challenge caches. I keep saying just caches. These are challenge caches in Canada. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's plenty.
Yeah, that's a bunch.
There's something to do on your weekend, huh?
There you go. Just go out and find 4,000 caches from your friend.
Yeah.
So Laura.
Yes.
How do you help Jay when he does a trip? Do you decide where to go? Does he decide where to go?
Oh boy. I think we kind of just both, if we have bucket list places to go to, that's kind of what we aim for first. and then from there, then we start looking into, okay, where in that country are we stopping, what's around, and expand from there. So when it comes to the challenge cache part, if you're looking at loops of things or working on specific challenges, like even for an upcoming trip, I'm like, ooh, I really need this DT, and there's nothing close to home anymore that's that DT. Is there one where we're going? And that's usually gets put on my list of, oh, could we make it over here, please? So sometimes the list is big, sometimes it's small. I wouldn't say that any place, at least not at this point in time, dictates where we're going to take our trip. I think we tend to go more where we're more excited about visiting and then incorporate the caching part into it.
Okay. That's perfect. I know, and as a couple that both enjoy geocaching, that's great. As kind of we talked about before the show, my wife knows what geocaching is. She tolerates my going to geocaching. Yet when we go on a trip, it's I want to shop, I want to see the sights, I want to go to the places, and I want the oldies, I want the hikes, I want the challenge caches. So we end up kind of diverging in our paths, and even planning for Cache Fest, which I have the opportunity to go to this year. I originally started planning for the both of us to go. How could I go? How could I go to Hawaii without her?
Yeah.
Well, a few months ago, she came to me and she said, I just went to Hawaii with my girlfriends last year. You're going to be doing all of the work with this event. You're going to be going all of this geocaching. I'm going to be sitting around the pool without my friends with a book. That sounds really, really boring. Would it be okay if I stayed home? And I scratched my head as long as I don't have to stay home. And she said, no, you can go, you can have fun, and I'll stay here. So we have our anniversary trip planned. So I will take care of her, but I'm going to Hawaii all on my own. So now you guys mentioned before the show we were talking that Nova Scotia. No, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Yeah, that's
Newfoundland. I knew it was a new something.
Yes.
I know my Canadian stuff, but it doesn't work on a map like Michigan.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. No.
So
it's more
Newfoundland
like this.
was, there you go. Newfoundland was, it was a consensual decision.
Yes.
So now, how do you plan the trip?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we decided, we both decided, we haven't made it out to that province yet in Canada, and it's from everything we've ever seen about Newfoundland, just an amazing, historically, geologically, and nature-wise and people-wise, just an amazing, beautiful place to be. So I thought, all right, let's do it. So then the first thing was, just because of the geography of Newfoundland, we had to make a key decision of what part are we going to, because we're not going to be able to cover the whole province. So we made a decision around focusing on the eastern side of Newfoundland. So that was a key thing. And then the next thing for me is like, well, if I'm going to Newfoundland, I'm going to up to Elliston and Bonavista, where I'm going to be able to take photos and video of puffins, because that's on my bucket list. I want to do that. Okay. And some of the quaint little, you can sort of picture them from photos people have probably seen, but like the quaint little towns that are sitting like on chunks of rock with these multicolored tiny homes right on the side of the ocean. And that's, that whole vibe is what I'm excited to go and check out. And, also meeting the people there and getting to see that. So that was kind of my take on it, of these are the things I want to see. And then from there, the caching part kicks in.
He checks out that part. I'm checking out as you say, the challenge caches. Are there any around? Oh, look. Yes, there are. Do we qualify? Yes, we do. Do we not qualify for any of them at this point? No, I don't think we run into any issues there. But that is one thing I would say even for kind of locally around, if we're going places, I tend to look ahead of time to see what do they have, what should I be working on before we go. And I may kind of segue here a little bit, but I know everybody plays the game differently.
Mhm.
And I don't want to say we're truists. That's too.
No.
But one thing that we like to do is that when we sign a challenge cache, we log it that day. We don't sign caches usually.
So what you're saying is we like to know that we qualify
before we go.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
because I know a lot of people will sign, say, I'll check later. And I get it. Sometimes you don't know until you get home and check something.
Well, sure.
Or they qualify for it months later and then log it that day. I don't like to do that. I like to say, nope, we found it today, logging it today because we qualify for it today.
And that's, you know, and as you mentioned right up at the top, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way, in my opinion, to do that. I do differ a little bit in that I've never gone by a challenge cache that I have never signed. Because I don't know when I'll get back to Newfoundland or Hawaii or, you know, the Northwest Territories up in Canada, you know. So I will sign them, but I would suggest to you that if you found it today, but you didn't qualify, you could still write a note on it today. And when you did qualify, you could make the log for today. There would be nothing wrong with that, right?
But
well,
then it messes with their stats.
That's okay.
One of the other issues that I have.
Like I said, and there's no wrong answer.
Yeah,
I'm not going to hold it against you.
And that's why I'm saying it's. I know everybody plays it differently, but
it does.
I know there's the few odd times that we've looked for a challenge cache that maybe hasn't been found for a while, but you look and you're like, oh, there's DNFs. Oh, there's found it. And the part that kind of messes with it is is the cache here? Because all the people who have found it afterwards are all people who have qualified for it, but found it like 3 or 4 years ago or something. And so it's like, so is it here or is it not here? Like, but anyways.
Yeah, I highly agree with that, is that is an element of challenge caching that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It just adds another challenge, right?
Yeah, we've talked on the show, you know, the 3 different dates that, depending upon how you want to play the game, a challenge can be signed for. And again, no wrong way. I do have, I got to bring this one up. Where's this one? There you go. I agree with the missus that you qualify, you sign it, you make it from great to forever. Anyway, thank you for that comment. No, and I agree. So the date you find it, the date you qualify, or the date you realize you qualify.
Yeah.
You know, any of those are legitimate dates to put on it. But when you're searching for that cache and you find that DNF followed by 5 found it's that they didn't find it then, they found it 3 years ago or 5 years ago, it really makes it hard.
But we still have, I think, 2 or 3 caches or challenge caches out here that we've hiked past with other people, and they're like, aren't you going to put your name on it? And I'm, no. When we qualify, we'll make the hike back up here and put our name on it. So that's just our way of playing, but that's okay.
Like I said, and that's a great way to do it. I have no problem with that. So this is also something we talked about, and I know, Jay, you're on a power trail.
Yeah.
Every cache is 1/10 of a mile. Do you get more excited about an EarthCache trail or a challenge trail?
Tim, if you let me know where this EarthCache power trail of 100 caches is, I'm there.
He says that. But
hypothetical.
You know how long that would take? Like, if they're actual really EarthCaches, that would be a multi-day adventure.
I won't say which city we were in. And I thought it was quite funny because he finally hit that point of, do we have to do any more of earth caches? Because
They were urban earth
yeah,
caches, and it was an extraordinarily high density of urban earth caches in this particular city we had traveled to. And a beautiful city that we were delighted to be in, and we were enjoying the walk around the city. But I was finding that the format of the earth caches was becoming highly repetitive, and I thought, okay, I'm not really learning anything anymore. So okay, I'll do these because they're here, and great, it's another earth cache smiley for me. But it was starting to get a little repetitive.
earth
All
cache
right.
smiley, then you get your numbers up for the earth cache challenge.
There you go.
Well, and there are some challenges here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that to find and execute 250 or 100, 250, and 500 total earth caches.
Wow.
And of course, the GSA has another reward when you get to 1,000.
Yes.
Have you hit that mark yet?
We're getting there, but
No.
we're not at 1,000 yet.
Okay. All right. That's on my list of things to do, but I'm just under 600 now, so I have a long way to
Awesome.
go. So,
Well,
and I kind of like
a lot of
the
earth caches to find.
Yeah.
that it is. And I know a friend that he just went over the 20,000 mark, and he's got 100 earth caches, and he's really proud of that fact that he doesn't do
should
earth
be.
caches.
Well, earth caches, they're like mystery caches. They take a lot of work to.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
they're
why
not for
he does it.
everybody. Again, everybody caches their own way, and everybody gets excited about different kinds of caches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Laura, same question. You can do that mythical power trail of 100 earth caches, or you qualify for 100 challenge caches today on this trail.
Challenge cache, no problem. I would not. I always say with the earth caches, I like observing it. I think that there's some out there that are just absolutely stunning to go and check out.
Yeah.
When it comes to asking the questions, no.
Not so much.
No. So I would take the challenge trail.
Well, and that's why you cache under one name, correct?
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
one account? Okay.
If we were two, I think the only earth caches I would have would be because Mr. LANMonkey sent the answers for the
Oh, that's fair enough, and that's great. We've had conversations with JT Coffee. We've had conversations with someone known as the Cheeky Brit, and
I know where this question's going now.
I don't. Uh-oh.
how do you keep track of challenges that you are working on?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, because I think we both know that Jay is not this detailed into challenge caching as
He's not
you
detailed
might.
on any of the caching except for earth caching. He doesn't like the puzzles either. I do not have a book. I think I understand that JT Coffee has a book that she keeps track of.
She actually has several notebooks that, yeah.
Yes. I don't. Maybe I'm not. Okay. If I'm not as crazy, does that make it sound like I called her crazy? I hope not. Sorry, Jesse.
Well, you have a good system in our Google Calendar.
I do. Well, that's not. Yeah,
That's
I
part
guess
of your
that's
system.
part of my system. Sometimes when I'm checking out caches, and sometimes if it's certain days that you need a challenge, I actually put a reminder in my calendar
Okay.
to remind me to go out, because there have been other times where we have gone out and I'm like, oh, I think I wanted to get something from this area, but now I don't remember what it was. So, and then I, of course, promptly remember after we get back from the trip. I go,
Well,
oh,
that's the best time. You always find the
yeah,
easiest way out once you found the cache.
yeah. So I do try to put something in the calendar um,
Okay.
to remind me. I usually set it up as an annual reminder, and I don't take it out until I found it and logged it.
Okay.
So that's kind of
for calendar-based
for
challenges.
calendar-based.
Although the other
Yeah.
thing you'll do is if so, for our trip to Newfoundland, there'll be Laura will look at certain days and say, okay, on a calendar basis, on this day I need 2 larges, and on this day I need a mystery and an earth cache and a virtual, and then on this day I need. So in order to fill calendar challenges, she'll list it out, and then what she'll do is look and say, okay, Jay, you wanted to go to Elliston and Bonavista to look at puffins, right? So show me on the map where that is. Okay. Now I need to get these things. So then what she'll do is she'll just map it out and say, okay, well, these are on the route.
Yep.
And so she'll put the GC codes into the calendar. And then what she'll do is she'll sequence them in the calendar. So then that day and so she does this for all of our trips. So when we're on the trip and we're going somewhere, we can just open the phone and there'll be on that day in the calendar, there'll be, okay, that'll be our first stop, second stop, third stop. And so then she gets to work on that. And so it's largely for calendar-based challenges that you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So every once in a while, I'll expand the distance away from home to see what new challenge caches have popped up that maybe I haven't seen emails come through to say, oh, new challenge cache. And just start going through and do I qualify for this? Do I qualify for this? And then from that point, then it becomes okay, what do I need to work on? What do I need? And then but I try not to have too many things that I'm working on at once. Some I'm willing to let maybe sit for a little bit, and sometimes they come back and half a year later I'm like, oh, I'm a whole lot closer to that now, or oh, I didn't know, but now we've qualified for it over the last period of time. So that's, I guess, maybe how I get away with having lots of books or lots of notebooks. But
Well, what would you say? I mean, maybe it is the calendar challenge that excites you the most. What kind of challenge, gets you going? Is there a particular type of fizzy, or an attribute fizzy, or a day fizzy, month fizzy, any fizzy?
I don't know if I have any in particular that tickle my fancy. It's just more of I want to qualify for it. But I find it very interesting of what people can come up with as a challenge.
Okay.
And that intrigues me. And then of course, from region to region, it's different. So some areas you see some challenges and you're thinking, oh, why is that such a high DT rating when it's really a simple challenge cache? But then you realize, oh, okay, it's been out for a long time. And as years go by and you get people who have been caching for years instead of maybe a year, that it's simple, whereas maybe back then there weren't as many caches. And anyways, I'm getting segued here, but
yeah, no, that's perfect. That's great. I mean, because in the same way, again, before the show, I mentioned that some friends and I went out yesterday, and it was a 12-hour caching day where we got almost 130 caches.
Yeah.
Well, you go back in time to 2004, 2003, if you found 20 caches in a day, that was an extremely busy day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of miles. So, the game board definitely has changed a lot. And like I said, some people chase fizzies and they want to do all of the various fizzies. I like being as well-rounded as I can. So
Yep.
I'm close to almost 500 of every major cache type. I'm over 500 on every cache size. I really don't like the bison in the woods, but occasionally you do have to find that 1.5 micro to get what you need. So another question that came up, and it goes to your planning. Are you familiar with a tool called Cache Tour?
Yes, I think we've tried using it a couple times.
To be honest, yeah, we haven't really touched it in a couple of years. A few years ago, we tried adopting it into our workflow, and we struggled a little bit. We're like, you know what? We just have our own system. It's working fine. I know it's had a lot of upgrades and improvements since the last time we've touched it. But yeah, it's just
okay. Well, your friend and mine, Jafau, just finding our way, is suggested that you might want to try it. I use it every single day that I walk out of the house. Saturday, used it twice. I did some event planning in the morning, and then we are in the house market. So the afternoon we went to look at houses and property, and I put all of those into a different cache tour. So I could bring my events up and go find things. And then in the afternoon, I could visit all of the properties that we wanted to see. So it is a tool. And like any tool, if you don't use it, you'll never be good with it. And to try to say, I'm going to do this trip to Newfoundland and I'm going to put all of this stuff in there and it's going to be perfect and great, it'll probably be a failure.
Yeah.
But I started with it like, okay, what can I do with it? And then there are some great videos online to see about the tool and how to use it. But
there's some great ambassadors for it as well. And I think that's one of the great things about it.
There are.
I see Jafau's even pitching an offer there as well in the chat.
I was going to say, you have an ambassador right near you, right?
We do. Wendy. Yeah.
Wendy,
she's
awesome. So yeah, if you ever wanted to go into it, I'm an unofficial ambassador. I'll be happy to help you anytime you have a question. But it does. I mean, it lets you organize and keep track of things, and you can put in caching stops and non-caching stops, and you can plan for the 3-hour visit to a museum, or this EarthCache, and you get to understand some of the driving time, which it sounds like you plan to do anyway, but
yeah, no, I should probably open it back up again and take a look.
It might be worth a try, but again, do it on a weekend when it doesn't matter what you're doing, and just play with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and say, this looks really good.
Good advice.
You talk often in that
I do.
other podcast. Well, yeah, okay, all right, you really do, but in that other podcast, which is
Caching in the Northwest.
Oh, I was going to say it was in the Southeast, but all right. It's in the Northwest.
Well, it's the southeast of British Columbia, northwest of Washington State, and the hosts are in both areas. So,
right. So again, just for our listening audience, it is Caching in the Northwest is the show that you're on, and it is, if I remember right, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific. 10 p.m. Eastern, so I ruined dinner tonight, right? When we started early.
It's all good.
You talk often about, the reason I'm going into this long-winded thing is the Fraser Valley, which you talk a lot about.
That's
as
our
being
home.
A beautiful place to come visit. Tell us a little bit more about it, especially from a challenge perspective, if you would.
Sure. Well, the first thing, I've got some notes for us there. The first thing I would say is we do have our a good set of challenge caches around. We've probably found, I wouldn't even say most of them yet. I think there's that trail up Burke Mountain still we need to do. But the one thing that folks around here love to do with their challenge caches, at least in this part of British Columbia, is put them on mountains. So they like to add to the challenge. By making it a challenging hike to get to the challenge caches. So they earn that T rating on the challenge caches around here. But yeah, it's well, for folks who are able to come up and join us for Geo Woodstock back in 2022. That was in Abbotsford, which is kind of right in the heart of the Fraser Valley. And we live in the next community over from Abbotsford. We live in Langley. And yeah, just a beautiful area. We're right between the Pacific Ocean and the coastal mountain range, and alongside the Fraser River, the biggest river in British Columbia. Just a gorgeous area, lots of mountains, lots of forests, lots of geocaching. But yeah, some of the areas where we've got challenge trails around here is Steelhead area in Mission, BC. Burke Mountain, I was talking about, just north of Coquitlam. Rolly Lake, we've got 2 challenges in that set of challenges that in the hike around Rolly Lake. One is an earth caching challenge.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Yeah, I know, right?
So tell us about that. What do you have to do to qualify for that one?
That one made a lot of people very unhappy.
Oh, whoops.
Maybe
we
it's called the what did I call it? The Oh Lordy, it's 140.
40, yeah.
And you had to find 140 earth caches.
Okay.
But not on the same day.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
It had to be 140 unique days in the year that had an earth cache find.
It made people unhappy because there was a previous challenge that came out that you needed X amount of earth caches. So there were some people who, in order to finally qualify, went out and did about,
did all the local earth caches in one day.
On one day, yeah, okay. So
and then along came Jay being a total jerk.
So
said,
this is 140 earth caches on 140 unique days.
Yeah, well, not 140 on each day, but like 140 spread out on the calendar.
Right. Any 140 throughout the calendar.
We would have put it higher, but we didn't have enough people who would qualify, because of course you have to have 10 people who qualify for it. So we had to put it lower.
Lower that bar.
Yeah.
Well, all right. And so there's another question. I know some friends of yours, the Cache Canada folks, Dave and Karen, they have completed their Earth Cache Fizzy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you in the Earth Cache Fizzy world?
You know what? I haven't checked probably for like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Just because it's really, really hard to do in Western Canada.
Yeah, it is.
The earth caches in Western Canada tend to be pretty close to the same DTs. So it's really, really hard. They've moved out here, but for the longest time they were living in Ontario, which has a lot more variety in DTs on the earth caches, making it an easier challenge.
That's why.
Well, and I know that there were some that you only had to travel to the States. And I don't remember if you had to travel outside North America to do it.
They might have. I mean, I don't want to belittle the achievement. Like that is a huge achievement.
Yeah.
And they did need to. That took them a long time and a lot of traveling around.
Yeah. No, I get that, but you are infamous for your earth cache prowess, and I was just curious where that that lined up on the scale, if you will.
We even have. Well, I tell them, no, you can't do that earth cache. So we have people can look and go, how come you have earth caches like close to home, and you love earth caches and you haven't done them? And I said, well, two reasons.
Yeah.
What do you? Well, I don't know what the second reason. My reason is Earth Cache Day, because we don't save earth caches from other places to log for the Earth Cache weekend. So if there's no earth caches that are local, what do you do? So I've got some that are in that are in our back pocket. We've probably got about 10 to 12 earth caches still in our neighborhood that I'm holding on to in case we are home during the Earth Cache weekend and we need one.
And then we can go out and do them then. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that. We play the same way there, girl. I like
so that's one reason. The other reason is that's the main reason. The other reason is occasionally there'll be an Earth Cache that'll pop up in the greater Vancouver metro area, Fraser Valley area. And Laura will look at it and go, nope, you can't find that one yet. You have to find it on this specific day because that's the day that I need both an earth cache and I need that DT combo on that day. So that's the day you can go
Ah,
find that Earth cache.
okay. Well, that works out well. I do have an FTF of an Earth cache, and I've tried, again, well-rounded. I want a first to find of every cache type.
Awesome.
And so you got to do that. And I had a friend log my Earth cache today. And I'm like, why did you log it today? Because it's so close. Save it for Earth cache day. But, again, everybody plays it differently.
Yeah.
So,
I think our hardest challenge for ourselves, which you can't put out as a challenge cache, unfortunately, just because for me, like I said, when we qualify for a challenge, we, find it, sign it, log it for that day. So
right.
if we do a challenge alley, I'm going to log them all that day. So trying to fill my calendar with finding challenge caches can be slightly difficult because
Well, I was going to say it would just be plenty challenging.
it is. But I have that on my calendar as well. And so the few areas where there's onesies, twosies or something, it's I save those for a day that I need a challenge cache that I qualify for, and I'll sign it that day. So when we eventually fill in our calendar, which will be many years from now, I think, then I think that will be something I will truly be very proud of, because I can say, no, we found those on that day. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our show.
okay.
Feel free to hang around, but this is the part of the show where I have to introduce this.
Hey, I'm the Bruce Zero. I'm from Ontario in Canada, and it is time for the Wheel of Challenges.
So it is. I was able to, Jeff is one of our former
It's good to
hosts.
see Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was able to record some stuff at Woodstock. So this is great. So
Fun.
it is time to play the Wheel of Challenges, and you guys can feel free to help. So here I've got to go back to my notes and say that one live viewer each month will be selected to face off against the wheel to have a chance to win the grand prize, which is a 1-year membership to Project GC. We do ask you to limit yourself to 3 wins. To enter, send an email. I got to go over here. Send an email with the subject containing spin me. This is really important tonight, folks, because I've got to do 2 things at one time here. Followed by your geocaching username in brackets. Once again, spelling counts, capitalization counts, and the answer to the following question. The first verified user gets to play against the wheel, where we will check your profile against Project GC to see if you win. Tonight's question is somewhere I've lost. Right here. Here it is. How long has Challenge Talk been a podcast?
Ooh.
So I'm going to open up the email app, and this is usually the time where I do the song and dance, but maybe at this point you guys can tell us what else did I not ask about that people should know about you.
All right. Well, hey, maybe not about us, but let's, we can talk about some other great places in British Columbia to find challenge caches if people are planning a road trip up here. We've been working away on a series on Vancouver Island, a big challenge alley there in southern Vancouver Island, just north of Victoria, near the beautiful Kinsole Trestle along the trails there. And so that's a great
bring a pole.
Bring a reacher pole for those.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a great one. How much more time do we need to stretch for?
Well, actually, we don't.
Okay.
We can close it off.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. Our first correct answer came in from B&J Bish, and the answer is 5 years.
Wow.
And the way we know that is Geocache Talk just celebrated their 9th year anniversary on Sunday. And we were talking about all the different shows that Geocache Talk has spun off, of which Challenge Talk is one of them. So 5 years is the correct answer.
Congratulations.
Now, yeah. So I don't know if it was Brad or Jen, but one of the two got the right answer in. And so now we will put them up against the wheel of challenges. We'll go round and round and round. I want a really hard one for them. They are challenge addicts. Oh, it's a 4. Max B's Event Road Warrior Challenge. This sounds challenging. It is a 76-degree challenge. Laura, are you familiar with what the challenge ratings are?
I think are those numbers that
No is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Well, I'm thinking I know there's the challenge difficulty things. No, let's just go with no.
Well, aside from the fact that it is a very convoluted formula that only the Project GC people know, it has to do with how many people in your area, in your geography, in the world qualify for this particular challenge. And so a 76 out of 100 is pretty high. So the challenge is to attend events in at least 12 different states or provinces or countries. Events of any kind will qualify.
I think we qualify for that.
Well, I'm going to look B&J Bish first because they're obviously
they're the ones who need to win here.
They need to win. Hey, and they do. So,
congrats.
Yeah, very good. Very well done. And you can see the kind they have. They got Bamarama Block Party this year.
Yeah.
So now let's see if I type
fun challenge.
in.
That's a neat idea.
Yeah. So here's the LANMonkey, and LANMonkeys also qualify, but I'm sorry you do not win the prize. So.
You can send our prize to B&J Bish.
Okay, we will do that. So thank you, Brad. We'll be in touch actually when Emily returns, because I've never done that. Emily will take care of that for us. So we'll do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So now I have to remember that. All right. So now phase 2. Every month, we give a congratulatory shout out to listeners who email us proof of qualifying and logging a challenge since the last show. Anyone who sends an email to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com with the GC code having a found it log, please include a photo if you'd like to share. For that month, you'll be entered for a prize giveaway of our coveted Challenge Talk path tag. So this month we've got several submissions, and in the interest of brevity, I chose 3 to come up with that are pretty interesting. This one was sent in by I want to say this one was bloody cool. I lost my notes.
Yep, you got it right. Good
Here's
memory,
my
Tim.
notes. Okay. Yeah, the bloody cool, and it is GC AD1Q4. This is a medium chain RM challenge, number 207. And the RM challenges are done by Retired Monkey. And down in Florida, there's a whole bunch of different caches. And so this is a medium chain, which means you need to create a chain of found caches with a maximum separation of 10 miles. And the 2 endpoints of the chain must be at least 150 miles apart. And I'm going to scroll down because he's got a map in here.
That is super cool.
Yeah, it's like Bedford, north of Boston. There's Boston in the middle. So north of Boston all the way down to past Springfield, Massachusetts. So he kind of covers Massachusetts. And I looked at this one before the show, and I've got one that goes from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan all the way down to the bottom of Michigan. So I qualify for this one actually too. But that's a pretty fun one that Bloody Cool sent in.
Neat.
Our second challenge is GC2M29A, and this one's submitted by Geocaching with Hailmeister. Again, one of our podcast vlogger friends.
Yeah.
This is Spirit Quest number 37, which is a challenge. Now, and again, this one's a little bit easier to qualify. This is a 35 on the challenge metric scale. This is one where somewhere in the cache page, it can be the title, it can be the description, you have to find 37 caches that include the word cemetery, graveyard, grave, we're in there. So it's all about cemeteries. This is one of the older caches. I want to say, yeah, this is from 2011. So this is, and we didn't really talk about pre-moratorium versus post-moratorium in your challenge endeavors, but this is a pre-moratorium, which means all bets are off. Now, one of the things that Jason did report is this was the first cache he found in Maryland, so it gave him a new state. And he also found 50 more challenge caches on his way home from West Virginia in Indiana. So Indiana has spiked in challenge caches recently.
Good for him.
A whole bunch. And Jay, I had to bring this one in. This one came from, again, our friend coming our way. GC82 WQH. Find one EarthCache in $25 different states.
Mm.
Now,
I don't think we qualify.
No.
So just, I'm going to run this
I don't
challenge.
even think we have 25 states.
Have you been to the States much?
Yes.
Yes. but
Yeah,
I
we've
don't,
visited many states.
I don't think we've been to 25 though.
Probably not yet. No.
Oh, I must have done something wrong here with your name. Yeah, I love data error on a podcast. Isn't it great?
Yeah, I know. It's lots of fun. Yeah.
Oh, you do not qualify.
No, but how many do? Trying to see how many we do have.
And there's nothing on the list that talks about Canada. So
Right. So it specifically has to be
this is
state.
a U.S. Yeah, this is a U.S. based challenge. You do have 20.
Yeah.
So
Almost there.
yeah. On your notebook, the next time you start one, maybe you can add this one to the list. So.
That's cool.
All right, so that's this month's challenges. We did have submissions from B&J Bish and Acorn Mama, so thank you for your submissions. And our winner tonight is Geocaching with Hellmeister. So congratulations, Jason. Send us an email with your address to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com. And Emily, when she returns, will send that out to you because she's got all the path tags as well.
Let's just keep adding work to Emily's list.
Right. She'll never miss again. So it has been wonderful of fun. And again, thank you both for joining us on this episode of Challenge Talk Podcast. And I'll remind our listeners and viewers that the next show is the second Tuesday of July, which happens to be the 8th. This is during Cache Fest week. So while Emily is on hiatus today, I will be on hiatus next month. So we'll see if we'll let you compare who does the best job between the two of us. I'm voting on Emily already, and I don't even need to see that. The line reads that the show notes will be posted shortly. Remember, shortly does not qualify as to 10 minutes after the show or sometime tomorrow. So we will post, I will get the show notes posted as soon as I can in the video description, and it will be linked in the podcast description. So now what I can say is that do remember to say hello in that special way when you see Emily or when you see I in an event. And what is that special phrase?
Cheeky Brit from Pocatello. Challenge accepted.
Oh,
I'm Sims Quest from Laurel, Maryland. Challenge completed.
woohoo!
Nice.
So again, to all of our folks out there, thank you very much for your patronage of the show, for listening, for watching. We greatly appreciate it. And remember, it is not about the numbers. It's about the challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Woohoo! Good night, everyone. Okay, make it work.